Best Freezer 2020, the best upright chest and under-counter ice machines. There is still a big spike in interest in finding the best freezer, as people still want to stockpile groceries. Just in case. If supermarket shelves empty, it's probably wise to make sure you've got plenty of spare eats and, obviously, a freezer is the best place to store said foodstuffs. Then, when it turns out all the food isn't really going to run out, at least you can say you have 100 kilos of frozen fish fingers for the next emergency. For many folk, a small under-counter model is quite enough, and indeed the best option. However, if you really want to stockpile freezable bargains from the supermarkets, a chest freezer or tall upright is for you. Are you in the USA? Head straight to this freezer guide. European freezers are generally not available stateside. You may discover that some of our favorite freezers keep selling out. Consequently, if you find a model we've reviewed that isn't available via the provided retail link, then try these retailers in the UK and USA who usually stock some very decent alternatives. Let's be honest, a freezer is not a complex thing, and it shouldn't break down for years and years after you've bought one. Just buy something that isn't too horrible to look at, from a reputable brand. To my mind, there's no point splashing out on a meal in this particular product category. So go for something like a John Lewis own brand freezer, which comes with a 2-year warranty as standard. John Levers rightly celebrated customer services, not that you should ever need it once it's installed, and A+ energy rating. Ironically, the vast majority of freezers are not designed to be located in areas where winter ambient temperatures drop to less than 10 C. However, one exception to that rule is the Beko CF374, which comes from Turkey, can store turkey, and go cold turkey, all at once. Given a choice, we'd always advise buying a fridge-freezer combo or even a fridge with a small freezer compartment. But if practicality is your prime concern or you have many mouths to fill, then a standalone freezer is undoubtedly the way to go. This freestanding under-counter workhouse might not be the biggest freezer out there, but if you're stuck for space or don't need tons of frozen food which you'll likely forget to eat anyway, then this model is a dream come true, packed with the sort of ingenuity and practicality you'd expect from this premium brand. The Liebherr is hugely impressive given its smallish status. It's fast and efficient at freezing your groceries too, with a superfrost function that lets the appliance do its job while also gaining an energy rating of A++ into the bargain. Cleverly, the Liebherr GP1213 Comfort susses out when the food you've added to its accommodating innards has frozen correctly and returns to its original operating mode. That'll save money over time. There's some inventiveness packed inside as well, with clear-fronted frost-safe freezer drawers that are designed with additional efficiency in mind. Indeed, as a whole the appliance is able to keep ice levels carefully managed, so there won't be any surprise bergs at the back after you've been running it for a while. And, because the compartment is dubbed Variospace, those smart cookies at Liebherr have ensured that it's so simple to move and remove drawers as and when you see fit. Similarly, no-nonsense controls above the door are basic but great, as is the child lock that avoids it being switched off by accident. Top buy. Let's face it, defrosting a freezer is an expensive pain in the butt. Aside from having to throw away most of the foodstuffs, you then have to wait for hours for the damn thing to defrost before you can even begin to face the tedious job of shoveling ice flows and water into a bucket. Oh, and did I mention the surfeit of towels required to soak up all the extra water? Samsung's True Novrost feature is said to totally eliminate all frost and ice by circulating chilled air around the interior. This not only keeps internal temperatures consistent and frost-free, but it also helps keep food fresh. Especially short-life veg like lettuce, cucumbers and tomatoes. The Samsung's digital inverter compressor, meanwhile, runs continuously, which is said to be more economical and quieter than standard compressors that switch on and off at various intervals. This humongous 315-liter model is clad in brushed steel, which makes it look even more expensive than it is. Inside it has 4 huge drawers, a small flap-top shelf, 2 open shelves plus a slim ice maker and a couple of narrow door-mounted trays for smaller items. Buy the matching fridge version and you can put them side by side to create one monster American-style fridge-freezer combo. Unless you have a big family to feed. This little bargain freezer is pretty much all you need. At just 492 mm tall and 472 mm wide. It's one of the smallest household freezers on the market, so you should easily find somewhere to locate it. A smidgen under £110, or £120 at some stores, buys you 32 litres of storage space, which is ample for 2 or 3 tubs of Häagen-Dazs. Some frozen fries, a packet of frozen peas and fruit, and a couple of bags of ice. And if you remove the single shelf, you can store even bigger items. In fact, you'll be surprised how many things you can stuff in it. The dinky Russell Hobbs doesn't have any mind-blowing tech on board because it doesn't need any. It just freezes stuff, effectively. I know this because I own one. Yes, you will need to defrost it from time to time, but at least you won't be wasting a shedload of food when you do. So, if fridge space is your most important consideration but you'd still like the option to be able to freeze odd items from time to time without taking up half the kitchen, then this micro chiller is simply perfect. Freezers used to be plain white boxes with little in the way of style. No more, as the AEG AGB 62226NX attests. Arriving as it does with a stainless steel exterior that really looks the business. Pull open the door and inside it's, well, traditional white, but there's also plenty of space for around 9 bags of shopping. Which means while it's not the biggest capacity appliance out there, it is impressive. AEG build quality reigns supreme here too, with excellent finishing touches on offer. We particularly like the cool temperature display. Meanwhile, AEG has done a sterling job with the 6 interior drawer compartments. Because while they're mainly clear plastic, they look reassuringly high-end. We also like the Maxibox drawer too, which is a giant-sized container that holds the sort of big stuff you get in for Christmas, think turkey here. There's fast freeze functionality on offer, which means if you put new additions into your freezer boxes, the appliance will compensate and get them down to the right temperature quick smart. That should mean you'll lock in freshness, especially when it comes to veg-based items. The AGB 62226NX is, as you would expect from AEG, frost-free, so it's low rent in that respect. Plus the quietish 42 decibels operational noise is appealing too. Oh, and if you like the look of stainless steel and avoid it thinking you'll be constantly wiping greasy fingerprints off it, then worry no more. The ingenious AEG has coated the door with an anti-fingerprint finish. On a practical note, that shiny door can be mounted both ways, depending on your requirements. Although there's no open door alert. That's hardly a deal breaker though when it comes to the overall appeal of this fine freestanding model. Many people put the freezers, especially those of the chest design, in the garage, outhouse, shed or gazebo. However, these areas can become exceedingly cold in winter, and as bizarre as it may seem, freezers don't like that. Their delicate compressors and electronics can start throwing a hissy fit accordingly. Enter Beko with its freezer guard tech. Models that have it, like this Class A+, 104-liter chest freezer, can operate in temperatures as low as -15 C. Conversely, it's just as happy keeping your food frozen in temperatures as high as 43 C. That's a pretty wide margin of operation, and one that's certainly worth considering if you plan on housing the freezer in an area with no insulation. As with all chest freezers, this is an unappetizing, white lump of metal with a hatch on the top. But, hey, if it's in your shed, who cares? It freezes stuff efficiently, without using too much electricity. Though you will need to defrost it from time to time. The downside, as ever, is that finding items can entail having to bend over and rummage around at the bottom of a large box. Though there is a sliding basket on top for your most used items. The Bosch Series 6 GIN81AEFOG is a freestanding integrated freezer. Which means if the H 177.2 cm by W 55.8 cm by D 54.5 cm dimensions allow, it'll fit seamlessly into a stylish kitchen layout. The slight trade-off is that, at 211 liters, It doesn't offer quite as much storage as other freestanding models. Nevertheless, this is a fine-looking appliance that appeals even more once you open the door. Bosch has done some nice work on the internals. Inside, there are 7 chunky containers for all manner of freezable items. Bosch has also marked a couple of these with massive letters saying Big Box. Just in case you haven't been to Specsavers. No matter, the storage is plentiful and practical. We also like the way Bosch has engineered the shelving to facilitate rejigging the layout without breaking into a sweat. This upright integrated number benefits from FresherSense, which means that the air inside is managed more efficiently. Ultimately, that should mean your frozen stuff stays in better shape over time. Controls wise, there's virtually nothing to do either. Buttons are found at the top behind the door, so the GIN81AEFOG is a good bet if you haven't got time for keeping an eye on what your freezer is doing. The Bosch just gets on with it. In a suitably low-key integrated way. With a no-frost construction, you'll not have to worry about defrosting. While it also comes with an A++ energy efficiency rating. So it will hopefully be easy on the electricity consumption. Fast freeze functionality also means that your newly purchased shopping can quickly be residing next to existing frozen produce in no time. Furthermore, the freezer has a reversible door so you can get it integrated into your preferred spot without struggling to gain access. Easy does it. With this John Lewis branded model, you can wave goodbye to digging out the ice pick in order to reach that frozen lump of steak you're sure you put in there several months ago. Not only is this keenly priced under-the-counter unit frost-free, it also has a quick freeze setting that reduces the temperature when you add extra groceries. Space-wise, the JL's 78-liter capacity is divided into 4 ample compartments, the bottom one being larger than the rest. Given that most John Lewis gear is well made and functional, you can be sure it'll continue to perform as well as the day you bought it. A notion borne out by the assemblage of glowing reviews it gets from its large band of happy owners. This statuesque 225-liter freezer has 7 compartments. One of them large enough for storing big-ticket items such as turkeys and gatto. The A++ Series 4 is a Novrost model, and that means warm. Damp air is regularly removed from the interior so it doesn't end up encasing the remnants of last month's lasagna in a rugby ball-sized clump of impenetrable ice. It also features a superfreeze function that temporarily lowers the internal temperature when adding extra groceries. The Bosch is quite a deep unit, 65 centimeters, so make sure there are no obstacles like piping or protruding skirting behind it, or it'll stick out and ruin the symmetry of your otherwise carefully considered kitchen. If you're in need of additional freezer capacity and your existing appliance is full, then the Liebherr GNP1913 could make a great secondary option. Being a Liebherr means that it comes with the usual build quality and design that we expect from this German white goods stalwart. It actually looks pretty cool from the outside, with simple clean white lines. Inside though, behind that reversible door, there's much more going on thanks to a neat Variospace storage system that allows for much more flexible arrangement of your newly purchased foodstuffs. 5 solid compartments let you divide your items into preferred sections, while the simple-to-use controls are located at the top of the appliance above the door. Simplicity itself. If you're worried about the energy usage of a secondary appliance though, the GNP1913 comes with an impressive A++ energy rating. Operating levels are good too, clocking in at 42 decibels, and there's a child lock for added safety. The audible door alarm alert is a handy practical addition too, while the automatic superfrost feature means less ice build-up and more efficient operation. Whether you're mad keen on snapping up deals on mountains of meat or are simply preparing for the apocalypse, you're going to love this. It has a voracious appetite and will devour anything you pile into its generous 371-liter inner space, whilst still leaving room for more. Yes indeedy, this chest freezer can accommodate plenty of food, including gallons of ice cream, which we love. However, the Zanussi ZCAN38FW1 isn't just a chest freezer with more brawn than brain. In fact, this particular white box has had some thought put into the design. First and foremost, we love the lid, which has a balanced design. That means if you're loading or unloading, it won't come crashing unceremoniously onto your head. Always a bonus. This model is super wide so you can pile in stocks and supplies to your heart's content. Zanussi reckons it's good for up to 22 bags of shopping, and we can believe it. 3 practical storage baskets for the most used items are included as part of the package, and we can't emphasize enough how handy they are. It also comes with caster wheels for easy maneuverability. Controls are limited, granted, but because this model is essentially a plug-and-go bit of kit, there's no fuss, no bother when setting it up. Being a horizontally designed chest freezer does mean that it might not be suited to everyone. But if you have a large family, or a frequent Iceland shopper, or run a B&B, then an upright freezer of these ample proportions is the way to go. A fridge is used far more commonly than a freezer. So if you have the space, you'd be better off having a tall standing fridge and a small under-counter freezer for those little used but undeniably handy items like ice cream, frozen chips, frozen veg, spare cuts of meat, the odd bag of ice, and the surplus bolognese sauce you made for last night's Italian bash. Like the winning Liebherr, this built-in 98-liter model has just the right dimensions to fit under the kitchen worktop and between the cabinets. It has 3 pull-out drawers and a superfreeze function that quickly reduces the temperature when adding new shopping loads. Being of Germanic origin, you can bet it performs admirably well. If you have a large family, consider this extremely cavernous 250-liter chest freezer. Mind, you'll need a utility room for it because it's ostensibly just a massive white box with a lid. Chest freezers usually have the largest capacity because they aren't compartmentalized. And that means there's no limit to what you can shove in them. However, all this space does come at the expense of practicality, since retrieving anything from the depth of the cavernous bowels involves a lot of item shuffling. Bear in mind that this model will require manual defrosting at some juncture, and, like most freezers, it is not designed for outhouse, garage, or shed placement. If you want a freezer capable of operating in below freezing temperatures, check out the Beko model reviewed above. If you're looking for a no-nonsense chest freezer that can fit in a variety of locations, then this GE model could be the answer. While it doesn't come packed with much in the way of high-tech gimmicks, the humble GE is nicely sized, making it just about right for the average family. In fact, the real bonus though is that it can be kept in the garage, so could also make an ideal supplement to a fridge-freezer combo you may already have in the house. While GE has kept the frills to a minimum, this chest freezer is hugely practical. Along with the agreeable storage space, there are 2 baskets that let you get the innards organized, depending on what you tend to pull out most regularly. There's a manual defrost for when the appliance needs draining. There's no interior light, however, but given the manageable size of this chest freezer, that's actually no big deal at all. Another definite positive with this particular GE is that it's not so big that you can't move it, which means you can change its position without too much upheaval. Not something you can say about other giant freezers. The styling is clean and simple, while the operating noise seems very impressive. All in all, we'd say that as chest freezers for the American household go, this has to be one of the better models. The Danby 11.0 CU FT chest freezer is an appliance that can take on all of your grocery shopping needs and more besides. With its sizable insides, you can fit all manner of foodstuffs within its white walls, while the exterior styling features an easy clean finish that blends in with anywhere you decide to put it. Danby has done a great job at designing the interior, so that more frequently used foodstuffs can be kept at the top, while less popular items can be hidden away at the bottom. The unit features environmentally friendly R600A refrigerant and, once you've powered it up, gets things reassuringly chilly in no time. There's a handy manual defrost option along with a front-mounted defrost drain to ease the process of ice removal. You'll also be able to visually check that your Danby is ticking over nicely thanks to a front-facing mechanical thermostat and power-on indicator light. Build quality means the Danby chest freezer feels robust. Although without any food placed in it, the appliance can be moved to your preferred location with surprising ease. You'll find one adjustable wire basket on the inside, under a solid cabinet lid that keeps all that cold air in. which says Danby maintains optimum freezing temperatures of -12.9 C, 8.78 F to -23 C, -9.4 F. Truly chilling. With its cool looks, the Danby 8.5 CU FT upright freezer is perfect for any type of surroundings, while the modern feature set also means it's bang up to date. Danby has designed the appliance so that it's Energy Star compliant and also works using environmentally friendly R600A refrigerant. Meanwhile, the capacity strikes that ideal middle ground that makes it suitable for an average family. The Danby might look great on the outside, but things are even more impressive on the inside. There are 3 quick freeze shelves, plus 4 shelves in the door for those smaller items that you often need in a hurry. All surfaces are easy to keep clean thanks to the smooth design, which complements the scratch-resistant exterior finish too. On a practical level, the Danby also features a reversible door allowing it to be situated anywhere, while there's a generous 5-foot power cord. We also like the adjustable legs that enable the appliance to be situated easily and safely, even if you've got an annoyingly uneven floor location. Adding to the usefulness is the manual defrost option, along with a drip tray for catching the worst of that melting ice. Text source, T3.com.